Don't, too bad, we're starting. So, hello, I'm Casey Barach. I'm one of the founders of UpTech, and we're really glad you're here tonight. And I have the pleasure, I stand before you, and I'm like 50 to 100 people to 200 people because in welcoming you here, I'm representing all the volunteers through the years who've worked with UpTech, and the investors, the mentors. At one point, when we got to 200 volunteers, to be real honest, I don't want to say we didn't keep track, but like, 500? Everybody keeps going, and we have lots of people, and we appreciate it. So thanks to all those people who, through the years, have given to UpTech. We couldn't be here without you. So I'm going to do a really quick intro here because, as JB says, it's not about us, it's about the companies. So every year I do this. I do a little report card because when we started this event, this program in 2010, we designed a report card. KPIs, call them whatever you want, and there were 3 of them. And the first one was we wanted to start 50 companies in Northern Kentucky. I will tell you there were people at the time who told us we were crazy, we couldn't do that. I will be happy to announce that we are at 53 tonight. Where are you, JB? 53. I mean, that's pretty amazing that someone would set out that goal and it actually came true. So we're really proud of that. And secondly, we wanted to make entrepreneurship a real business sector in Northern Kentucky. We were no longer relegated to the kids' table at events. That was a joke. Come on, let's go. Yeah. We want to be, we're serious businesses, and we want to promote that, and we want to be accepted in Northern Kentucky. And I can tell you, we are. We are part of conversations that are going on every day when they talk about economic development, how to recruit more talent to the region. That's all going. And our third KPI was all about investment capital, because we know entrepreneurs can't survive without investment capital. We started out at a very easy number to remember, 0, of investment capital in the early 2010. That number is amazing to me. We have raised that to available capital to about $13 million now. But we need to be at 130. But stay tuned. I think there's some exciting announcements coming later in this year that you'll hear where we'll be able to significantly bump that number up. So that's the speech. I'm done. That was pretty quick. Now I have the pleasure to introduce the guy, JB Woodruff, who's the managing director of the program. And I will tell you, I'm sure everybody has it. I have this folder where I'm always printing things off and putting them in the folder I'm going to read later. And I was reading one literally last weekend, and it was this article in the Harvard Business Review. That sounds pretty impressive, doesn't it? Whew. And it was about what is the difference with executives? What causes executives to be successful? What causes leaders to be successful? And it was a very data analytical study. But it came down to 3 things, and I will have to look at my notes for this. It was, number 1, you have to have a strong sense of purpose, passion, and urgency. And so, of course, first thing we all do as humans, we measure it against ourselves, right? Once I got done with that, I was like, who do I know that fits that? And secondly, it's someone who can sift through tons of information and really cut to the quick and say, this is what's important out of all those 100 people who spoke in a meeting. We've all been there. Like what was said that was important. And third and final, humble, always learning, and a great collaborator. And I read that and I was thinking, who do I know that fits that? And really, when I went check, I couldn't come up with anything. And so I was running through my Rolodex. Yes, I'm old enough to have a Rolodex. And I came across W's, and that would be JB Woodruff. And I think he meets all of those qualities. That's why he's a great leader, and we really love having him here at UpTech. So JB Woodruff.
All right, I want to make sure this is on. Okay, good, it's working. Wow, this is great, guys. This is my 4th year doing this. I love seeing all the familiar faces and many new ones here for our 7th demo day here at UpTech. It's amazing just to hear 7, right? It's just like, as Casey pointed out, this is something that was, I think, a little unexpected, but I think we can anticipate the success. And I'm really happy to have all of you here tonight. So over the next, I should probably introduce myself. I am JB Woodruff. I'm the managing director of this UpTech program. It's my distinct pleasure to be able to work with entrepreneurs every single day. And I've got a great set here that you guys are going to hear from tonight. First, I'm going to start a little bit talking about the UpTech program. Then we're going to jump into some amazing pitches that you're just going to love. And then we're going to wrap up. I'm going to tell a little bit about the future of what the UpTech program has in store. So that sound good? I think that's a good plan. So to start things off, I want to say some thank yous, and I need to say some very distinct thank yous to the funders of our program who make this program possible every year. And those are, to start off, saying thank you to the Kentucky Cabinet for Economic Development, Triad, the City of Covington, the R.C. Durr Foundation, and finally, the Northern Kentucky Fund. And the sponsors for tonight, yeah, thank you. I think it's a good time to give a round of applause. And I do want to say also thank you to tonight's sponsors for our demo day. My clicker is having a little bit of a problem here. That's a CVG, Triad, the CTI, which actually uses this space. Hey, it actually worked that time. We'll fix that so you guys don't have to have a problem here. And Graydon. So a big round of applause to say thank you to those folks. We're going to try this one real quick. Thank you. That's why I like these guys. Back up. So the first thing I want to start off with is talking a little bit about our program. So UpTech is a seed accelerator where great tech ideas grow to be investable. We're located here in the city of Covington, and our founders become investable through 4 means that we have in our program. The first, they leverage intensive one-on-one coaching. The second is they connect with mentors, investors, and customers. They learn the right skills at the right time. We don't do fluff, we custom tailor things to what these folks need. And finally, through all of that, they become data-driven in everything they do. And I'd like to tell you a little story of one such founder. His name is Alex. He's right over there. Everybody look at Alex. His journey began a little bit of over 5 years ago while he was working in his corporate job. Alex had this idea. I like to call it the itch that he couldn't scratch. He took that idea, he participated in a startup weekend in Cincinnati. As a result, Alex formed the company Tixers and applied to the UpTech program. He received an investment from UpTech in our second year, and through a lot of hard work, Alex got a follow-on investment and ultimately sold his business a couple years later. Now, I tell you this story because it is the story that I use to inspire others to do the same, to take that leap. He was someone who took a risk and he succeeded. There are many who take that risk and don't succeed, but I always look at it as a success if you take that risk and you take that leap. I'm also telling you this story because of what he said to me a couple weeks ago. He was working at UpTech and told me that he loves being there and that it feels like home. That's why we do what we do. We do this for the entrepreneurs, and we enable those entrepreneurs to take that leap. We give them a home. So I want to show a brief video to explain a little bit more of our program, so please enjoy.
Michael, our long-term vision?
Our mission is to support small farmers and make local food more normalized. Building a successful company should be the goal. It's the first step. The UpTech program really helps set that foundation early by founder development, even things like time management, project management, and just setting up processes to help us grow from the beginning.
Org analytics will be in every manager's toolkit My background is in investment banking, so that brings a very different perspective or a different background into the entrepreneurship realm and into the startup world here at Cincinnati. Even though we're a startup, we can really meld our company to match that big company view and have much more of a long-term vision around it.
They want to learn the right tools so that they can know when their business is working.
Our long-term vision is to be able to help companies understand their customers on a deeper level. They've been really helping us understand our value proposition and ROI.
I'm a serial entrepreneur. I owned a company prior to UpTech, so I knew how to run a business. I just didn't know how to run a tech business. They teach you the milestones and the things that are needed so that the business matched the product.
Startups come to UpTech so that they can drive value to their customers and ultimately create a sustainable business. By doing those things, they're going to become investable.
Our vision at Weave is to give a voice to employees to make positive changes within an organization. One thing we learned is that Midwestern hospitality is a real thing. Everyone has been really willing to help us out, and it's helped us really find a good product market fit.
My goal with True Circle is to normalize therapy and make sure everyone gets the chance to get the help that they need. It's so intimate in the startup scene here that meeting investors, they're willing to share their knowledge, they're willing to mentor you, they're willing to help you get to the next stage, which is completely different from the East Coast and West Coast.
One of the things that I've noticed over the past few years is the real international flavor of UpTech classes. Part of the cohort has been from Ireland, from Latvia, Canada. UpTech especially has really gotten an angle on that and realizing how appealing it can be for an international startup to get a foothold in North America by coming to the greater Cincinnati region.
So we went there for 5 months, working very, very hard to set the foundation for the company.
It's important for UpTech to not only have companies from the Midwest, but also companies from outside the Midwest, or even international companies like us.
Because as those companies progress and as they grow and as they learn things, they can come back and help the UpTech community.
It's been really interesting to see the ecosystem thrive and grow. And I think as a city and as a community, we just have something really unique and valuable.
It brings a lot of talented founders, investors, as well as engineers to this area. It makes companies want to stay here and actually build their companies here in the region. Coming from San Francisco, I see the difference of actually being able to build a business here in the Midwest area.
We were really pleasantly surprised to see that there was a pretty booming startup community, a lot of angels, a lot of mentors that were ready to connect with us and help us out.
It's very important in economic development to grow your own businesses when you can, because they put down roots in the community.
So St. Elizabeth's vision is to help make Northern Kentucky one of the healthiest communities in the United States. Innovative thinking requires partnerships in the community to get that done. UpTech's been a great partner and a great avenue to help us solve problems. I think we're only scratching the surface.
WonderFund is an equity crowdfunding portal, and what we do is we connect with startups who are looking to raise capital. The biggest problem that all these companies have is looking for funding. What we loved about the UpTech relationship was just the creativity in leveraging online platforms like us in order to get there.
So UpTech is really about making companies investable. That's the first and foremost goal. But at the end of the day, what we also do is we want to focus on one word, which is inspiration. And that's inspiring people who are entrepreneurs to come and activate their ideas. It's inspiring investors to get involved and put their money to back these companies. And finally, it's inspiring people in the community to really drive activity and helping the entrepreneurs do what they do. I love that video. That's something that our partner Spotted Yeti put together this year. So a big round of applause for them. I love that video for our region and for us. And in that video, there was something that I watched it afterward. I realized we produced it, but there were some key words that I want to just highlight. And those are founder development, drive value to customers, partnerships, thriving ecosystem, sustainable businesses, and innovation. And as listen to it, UpTech truly does check all of those things. These are the results of what we do. And you know what? Behind those results, we have a great team. There's myself, there's Abby Ober, who's our operations and marketing manager. She's right here. Please give her a round of applause. She truly made this event happen, so if you want to say thank you to somebody tonight, please say thank you to her. And we have 2 great interns this year. We've got Jade and Sid. They're also, you saw them checking in. I think they're probably still out there. I hope they're coming in soon. There they are. And I do have to thank another part of the team, which is my wife and my 2 children, who are probably at home watching this. Actually, I know they're watching it, so that's fun. But thank you to them as well for what they do in support. She was listening to me do this last night as I'm frantically going through it. The other part of our team is our board. And this is a board of very strong community leaders, who many of whom have been through this program from the very start, well before I came along. And they're the ones that give us the most support. And when things get really tough, they step up. So a big thank you to them for helping make sure we keep this show running. And you know who you are, who really stepped up this year, so I really appreciate it. And then finally, there's a room of you, our community, our mentors, our educators. You are our army of value. I really believe that we would not have the value we have without your willingness to do this without asking for anything in return. So a big thank you to you, and you are a big part of that team. Now, what would a data-driven accelerator be without a little bit of data, right? So we've been running for the last 7 years. We've had 53 startups come through. That's 105 diverse founders who've created 284 jobs. Even that video we had produced was wrong because we've had more jobs created in the meantime. And I'm proud to say we've had 4 exits so far. So those green were the first 4 years. I'm expecting more each year as time goes on, because that's the standard trend. We've been recognized as a nationally ranked program. And finally, I'm really proud to announce that we've hit that $10 million mark. That's total amount of investment in our founders over the years so far. Next, I'd like to talk a little bit about our partnerships. Because 2 years ago, we moved to enhance the Customer Connections program. It's a big piece of what we do. It's ensuring that our entrepreneurs have a customer to talk to, validate their problem, work through building their product or service. We have 2 great partners currently with St. Elizabeth Healthcare and the City of Covington. These partnerships enable us to work directly with potential customers to better understand their needs and give us direct access to those who can help our startups. Our partners, in turn, get access to the latest in innovations and a new way of thinking about solving their challenges. And today, I'm really excited to add a new partner to that list, and that's Cincinnati's International Airport. And at this time, they're a leader in the community when it comes to innovating, and I'd like to now invite Brian Cobb to the stage to share his thoughts on this.
All right, kids, you can't have a talent and tech demo day without some really cool stuff, right? Good evening, everyone. It is an absolute honor to be with all of you tonight, especially under the auspices of joining the entire UpTech family as far as one of those committed community partners. Many of you know the story of CVG. It hasn't always been roses for us, perhaps. But the last several years have really just tremendously gone gangbusters, and we're very fortunate. Who are we fortunate for? You. You are the individuals that have actually tremendously helped us recover from the days of old, and we're incredibly fortunate for that. So how has that positioned us, and why is a guy like the airport here talking about innovation? I would argue all day long, sitting in my seat, that we've lost our way as the U.S. airports. We're missing an opportunity. I talk to my colleagues pretty much every week around the world, have the good fortune of spreading the good word of CVG around the world as well. But very quickly, the same story kind of occurs that we really have fallen behind in the opportunities for talent and tech. We have the opportunity, and I firmly believe it is right here in this region and absolutely in this room. So that's why we're heavily committed to the direction that we're going. I would also say in the domestic US, the opportunity that is occurring is right here in the Midwest. And it truly is, as someone said on the video, it really is that Midwest charm. It's the welcoming environment, the way that we embrace the community here in this particular region. And why is that? Again, I would argue, if you look at the East Coast and West Coast, essentially they're pricing themselves out of the market. So we talk to the East Coast folks and we talk to the West Coast folks in the talent and tech space, and it's almost unaffordable for startups like many of you in this room to actually make it a go. So the Midwest and our low cost of living and the opportunity to have the support bases that you have here in this room and companies like ours in St. E's and the city of Covington and our friends across the river at Centrifuge, that is a collaborative community that is here to help, here to support, and absolutely accelerate your business to where it needs to go. So with that, JB and certainly Casey, thank you for everything that you've done. Casey, we go back some years. We finally got it over the goal line, and we are thrilled to be part of the UpTech family. We're very much looking forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
Brian, thank you for bringing that here, because that is amazing. And thank you for your words. That was fantastic. It's great to hear from one of our region's leaders, especially in innovation, to talk about what's going on and the trends we have coming up. Another partner I'd like to talk about tonight is WonderFund. Many of you saw in the video Marvin Abrinica. He's sitting up here. He's been a longtime mentor of our program, but he recently launched a equity crowdfunding platform called WonderFund. And like Kickstarter, you as a common individual are able to invest your money, give your money to a startup company. But instead of getting a t-shirt in return, you can get some equity, a piece of ownership of that company. And 2 of our companies thus far, out of UpTech, have used WonderFund to raise a small amount of money to help them get over the hurdle. Apex Sports being one of them that's going to be speaking tonight, and CrowdMob being another. So he's a great partner, so we love having them in, and I foresee many more companies will be using a platform like this in the future. Before we get to the pitches, I know it's been a long wait. I have one request for you guys to do tonight. And as you're listening to each of these startups pitch tonight, I want you to think of one way that you can help each of them, whether it's making an introduction to a potential customer, giving them feedback about their business idea. Keep that in mind, and I'll tell you what to do with that once these pitches are done. For now, on with the show.